Today, we're going to do a little commentary on the 1993 Mariah Carey video, Dreamlover, because one of us was actually on the crew for that particular video.
That's right.
Not saying who.
I was. But it's a secret. We're not supposed to tell anybody.
Welcome to Pull My Focus Adventures in Digital Filmmaking. Frank and I, this is weird, we're in the same video. No, we're in a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Whatever. But this one is great because, so we usually do a Google Hangout when we talk about business and stuff, and we talk about Pull My Focus and stuff. And one day we just got into a conversation, and somehow Mariah Carey's Dreamlover.
Yeah, I don't remember how we got into it. I don't remember how it came up. It was a song, or you were humming something, and I'm like, oh yeah, I worked on that video with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this happens all the time with this guy. He goes, oh yeah, I was working on that video. I go, what? So I bring the video up, and we start chatting about it. I'm like, dude, this is a show. So we got it, because you have to share some of these stories. Mariah Carey's Dreamlover was one of the songs that put her into the pop category. It really crossed her over.
Oh yeah, from what, R&B before? What was it?
Well, her first song was like Emotion, and it was a little soulful and a little gospel-y.
Oh yeah.
And Dreamlover was completely poppy. But I remember the video was in heavy rotation.
Yeah, it was
and I
heavy.
can't believe I'm sitting next to the guy who was.
But that's the crazy thing was when we, like in the 90s, I'd say probably a third, maybe at times half my bread and butter was working on music videos, because you had to have a music video. The crazy thing was I think they said 80-85% of the videos that were produced never made it on air. Because think of all the songs that were out. It's just like music. Every song isn't going to get played on the radio. So MTV was kind of the same thing. So it had to be the song, and it had to be something about the video that resonated. However, you got a gig, huh? All right. Well, we got an editing gig. We got to go.
We'll keep rolling.
Well, so when a video did make it, like for instance, the Aha video, that was huge in the 80s. Well, I worked on a music video for, I think it was the lead singer and one of the other guy. I don't know where they were from. They were Sweden or somewhere. They were in another band after that. And it was somewhere on the south coast of Long Island. It was like rocks and the beach, like hills. It was like big, beautiful scenery, the ocean behind them. I don't remember the song. I don't remember the name of the band.
Really?
The video never saw the light of day. Oh. And it'd be the kind of thing where today, if I knew that band and knew the song, I could probably find it. I told you I worked on the Method Man video where they hung him upside down.
We have to do that too.
So that'll be another one. I don't know if we can do that one.
Oh yeah,
where he was in a straight jacket, hung upside down by the special effects guy, whatever. So anyways, but yeah, you just never know what's gonna. So this video was kind of a cool thing to be able to. Now it was only really people in the business, we didn't care, but to friends and family, you go, oh yeah, I worked on that. It was more bragging rights. But in the business, no one was like, oh my God, unless you were Diane Martel, who was the director or somebody like that, then it's a different ballgame. But everybody in the business already knew. So.
Well, this is funny because I've known you for years and I didn't know you work on Dreamlover.
Well, I forget all kinds of slaughter video, all kinds of Cheap Trick, all kinds of crazy stuff. But this video was neat because, it was summer of '93. I had been working as a grip for maybe 4 years actively, out of film school at that point. And the key grip was Dave Araki, and Rich Audino was the second. So Dave brought me up as one of the thirds because there was a lot of work to be done, and it was me and another guy, Stian, I can't remember his last name, who was the third grip. And so Mariah Carey had just gotten married to Tommy Mottola?
I think so.
Mottola? Yeah, she just got married to him.
Isn't he like the Sony Geffen?
So he was the head of Sony Music, which was huge, and so I guess this is her second album, and they had a house. They had a house upstate New York, like way upstate. So this is where I'm living in New York City, right? And so we're gonna go up for 2 days to shoot, and it's some beautiful, like there's parts of New York where it's just hills, it's like clover fields and all that, and trees. It's just gorgeous. So that's where we're gonna go shoot, and the story goes is that, because of who she's married to, he's like, well, here's money, do what you want to do in the video, and
here's money.
Here's some money. I love you, baby.
Money, honey.
I love you, baby. Make a great music video. What do you? And And Mariah Carey, I mean, we didn't interact with her there. I interacted with her more on another video that she actually directed years later. And she's like totally very cool person and very personable and all that. And but you know, she's got this entourage with her, and so, and she wanted her choreographer, who was Diane Martel, to shoot the video. And Diane, I think she had done like a documentary or two or before that. But
she was a choreographer?
She was her choreographer.
She asked her to shoot them?
Yeah, she's well, so that's the other thing about music videos that were different, right? Is in traditional filmmaking, right? There's continuity and there's singles and close-ups, but in a music video, it's more, it's not that at all. It's a completely different animal. It's all visuals. And that can kind of apply to commercials too, because she now, I mean, she's still making music videos. She's like, she was totally green then, but now she's, you know, she did the Blurred Lines video with Robin Thicke, and she's done Mariah Carey, and she still does commercials. So, and I don't know how it is now. I think then it was, you know, you had a production house that had directors, right? Because the directors were creative, and they would do. So a music company would contact them and say, "Hey, what's the here's the song we need, you know," and they would get different ones to bid, and they would say, "Well, let's go with it. You know, we have these directors. We suggest this person," and they would write up sort of like a treatment, like very.
Here's what the video is going to be.
Yeah, and it's more of like giving the flavor and look. It's not like the plot, because there's no plot normally, and. So it was more about someone who had an artistic vision, because it was a very visual medium.
Yeah.
And there's nothing right or wrong about it. But that's what it is. It's just, so you could get a choreographer who like she was very talented and had ideas and visions, and you know, there are other I'm not thinking of all the names, but there are a lot of great. There are a lot of people then who ended up making commercials and other things afterwards,
right.
And even TV shows and all that. Yeah. That's sort of like the lead-in, yeah.
You want to watch a little bit?
Yeah, let's watch a little bit.
Let's spark some of that memory.
Let's go.
All right, let's check this out. So we start with Mariah's booty in a pool.
So this is at some waterfall somewhere. Even though this is August, this is typical New York. The water's freezing cold. I wasn't there at this point. This was on the morning of the second day. And Steon was the other third grip. He went, and he had to go in the water as well. And
I'm just gonna pause it right there. She's swimming in ice cold water.
Ice cold water. So it's August, and it's August, June. I don't remember. Somewhere in the summer. But that's New York. It's like the water. Nothing gets warm until like September. You know, it's like it's just freezing cold.
All right.
The water is. So now here we're. I don't remember what the crane is, but it's all these beautiful hills. So we are.
It's upstate New York.
It's upstate New York. So one thing that was really nice about this, so the Jim Fealy was the DP and Dave Samuels was the gaffer, and we got to bring in carbon arcs. Now at this time, everybody's using HMIs, and HMIs.
These are lights.
Lights, right. So HMIs, halogen metal, I forget what it stands for, but it's basically replacing carbon arc. So a carbon arc was two solid carbon rods that when you bring them close together and you run, I believe it was a heavy DC current through it, a spark will go between it and flames will shoot out, like serious flames. We'll find something and show it in here. And you would use that. When I was in the Navy, welders would use it to cut through extremely thick metal. Like that's how you burn in metal. So
why are they using that out here?
So what one guy and I think it was at Richardson figured out was, hey, that's a beautiful light. Let's put it in a big flannel casing, and just have the ability for someone to adjust, because as the rod is going, the carbon's just getting burnt. So you have to keep pushing the rod in there to keep just the right amount of a gap. You don't want them to touch, but you don't. If it's too far away, it'll sputter and it'll go out. You got to keep that arc, and so they were called lamp operators, and that was the only light really that could compete with the sun back in the day.
Super bright.
Super bright.
So what shots are they using that in here?
I don't know that. I don't think they're using it here, and you can see there's a ring light in her eye right there. Because I wasn't there. I think this was after the pool. I don't remember. So, but it's for those wide shots with all of the guys dancing. Which was
really?
Earlier, yeah.
So why are you lighting wide shots? Isn't the sun enough key for?
Well, I think even here too, it's like, well, you could, so you could see it's partially cloudy and right. But I think in some of the wide shots the sun is out, and you needed, that's how much light you would need to fill for a fill.
For a fill.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember the balloons. Yeah, so this stuff here is, and there are DPs who love our carbon arcs because they think it's a beautiful quality light and it's kind of warm and all this stuff, and because basically it's flame, it's a giant flame. And again, we'll show a clip. Yeah, like so here it's like, how do you compete with that?
Is it like a, what is the line?
So it's a field. This is some field, and they had already picked whatever's on the field. They'd cut it down, like I don't know what they were growing. And so that's what we're shooting on. And I think one of the days, like Tommy was there, in a lounge chair. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's Tommy," whatever. But one of the things that's funny. So you saw he playing. So she's wearing flannel, right? So this is '93, right? So it's like grunge and all that, and that's just how we dressed as well. And the guys are kind of,
that's how that's how the crew dressed.
The crew, yeah, that's how we dressed because you had cutoffs and all that. But So everyone here is her crew, who my understanding was also when they went on tour and all that, besides the choreographer, the wardrobe and all that. And on the drive up there, right? So they always have a van. You don't just drive yourself. They're like, okay, there's a van pickup, and they'll bring us up there. So somebody, the head of wardrobe or whatever, someone liked my hat. I had this hat that was a waterproof hat. That because unlike California, it might rain.
Right, you were just dressed as crew.
I'm just as crew. It's a good chance it'll rain. It's just so you have to always be ready. You got your Gore-Tex, top and bottom, and I had my hat because you got to wear the hat under the Gore-Tex hood because otherwise the hoodie gets in your way. Okay. And so could we the wardrobe, the head of wardrobe, she really likes your hat. Could you wear your hat? I'm like,
they didn't have any.
I don't know.
They didn't have enough hats.
I don't know. But they're like, I'm like, oh, sure. I mean, but if it rains, I'm gonna need a back. Right. That's all there is to it. So we use scaffolding to put lights up when you need, or camera or whatever up high. And the scaffolding we use is 2 parts, and it hooks together very easily. And it's 2 guys, almost 1 guy, but 2 guys put it together, click it together very simply. Put the boards on, and to get even higher height, we'll go up on top of on the trucks. As long as the roofs can handle it. So we'll put them up there and we'll ratchet up. So we're up on the roof with putting scaffolding up on the grip and the electric trucks. And I forget why, I don't think it was for lights. I think we were trying to build some like stadium-like looking thing or something that never got shot. I don't really remember. But we're way up there and we're all like rigging stuff. And we're like, ratchet straps, chain vice grips, all these things, making sure everything's safe. We're rigging it, and up there, and Dave's up there, and Rich and these other guys. And then that same wardrobe person came over and said, "Hey, the head of wardrobe," and they were all like enamored with whoever she was.
They
were
like,
more? Well, they were like, "Hey, she really likes your shirt because you use your shirt." And I'm wearing a red.
You really like
so I'm shirt. Wearing a red. I think it was like a red flannel, and I'm kind of like, but red or something. Okay. And they wanted it for one of the guys, but most of them have the shirts off because they're all ripped and everything. I mean, they're like. Because they're dancers, for crying out loud. These guys have great bodies, but I'm like, well, I'm kind of wearing it right now, unlike the hat because it's not raining. But so she goes, well, we'll give you another one to wear. It's like, well, I'm kind of attached to this one. I'm good. You use the hat, but I'm going to keep the shirt. But thanks. I'm like, I'm not. So she walks off, and she seemed not very happy with that. And I'm kind of like, well...
she was pissed that you wouldn't give her not only your hat, but also the shirt off your back.
Yeah, I gave her the hat, but yeah. So now I'm kind of like, okay, well, whatever. But I'm like, I don't come up to you asking you, hey, can I borrow a C-wrench? Or something. I brought my own tools. It's like, did you not bring enough for your... I mean, but normally in crews, especially here, it's like non-union. Everyone, either way, you'll help each other to certain degrees, regardless, union, non-union, whatever.
All right.
But so then a little bit, I don't remember how much longer, maybe it was half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever, she comes back with my hat. And she goes, well, thanks for nothing, we don't need your hat either then. And throws my hat on the ground.
She was salty?
And she was salty, and she just walks off. And I'm like, no, and at first I'm like, okay, was I, and the other guys are looking at me and they're like, what are we in fucking high school? What the was that? It's like, and you threw so I loaned you my hat and now you threw my hat on the fucking ground? Like, what the hell is that all about? I'm like, fine, you know, but they're like very, you know, they've probably worked together, like on tour with her for a long time. Like they're like a very cliquey family and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm not in your family. I'm up on the scaffolding on a mother truck. I'm like 30 feet in the friggin' air. Don't throw my hat in the ground, please. And don't take the shirt off my back. I'm kind of...
Right.
Now, Martha Stewart wanted to wear that same shirt when I worked on her TV show.
You worked on Martha Stewart too?
I worked on her first Christmas special.
We got a lot to go through, people.
And I let her wear it, but then she wanted a different color. So Martha Stewart, I still have that. I think I might even have the
Stewart wore your shirt?
Yeah, she wore my shirt. She had garlic that she just pulled out of the garden. So there you can see the carbon arcs on Mariah in that previous shot. Who is that? I wonder if that was someone, if it was a makeup artist or somebody, that woman. Yeah, so people were really getting into ring lights back then. So that's the other crazy thing is, so Diane she's a choreographer and she knows a little about film, but now she's got a budget and there's a huge crew and all this stuff, and so there's a little bit of a learning curve, and it's fine, we're getting paid, so whatever. But some of the stuff was a little bit crazy where on that morning, they go to shoot the water in the water. So we're building basically, how do you pronounce, proscenium arch, a theater arch. So we're doing scaffolding with trusses between it, and there's going to be fabric on it, and we're building it like where two hills kind of meet, like a little M, and we're building, and it's supposed to be this big thing, and you know, it's creative. It's like she has creative vision. Got it. That sounds okay. Cool. We'll put it here. This will do it. They come back from the shoot, and it's been a few hours, and they come back and they look, and then she's pointing, and she's with the DP and other people, and she says something, and one of the people walk away and like, oh my God, what? And we're like, what's going on? And she basically was like, I don't know. It's just too much green, and we're like, what do you mean there's too much green? It's the middle of summer in upstate New York, in beautiful hills. Everything's green. The trees are green. The hills are green. Everything's friggin' green. Like,
so what's supposed to happen?
I don't know, and I don't know what we're shooting. I don't even know what we're shooting. All I know is we built this whole thing and we didn't shoot anything with it. It's like, all right, I don't care. I'm still getting paid, but you know it was green before when we told you we were gonna. Someone said we're gonna build it over there.
You didn't leave in the winter and then come back.
I mean, today post processing, you could turn it whatever color you want. But that's the thing with videos, right? It's just get a lot of footage, right? You just get tons of coverage, and they actually knew, like, you know, when you shoot a feature film, they were like, okay, how much? You know, one of the reports is how much footage was shot in a day. That gives you minutes and all that. You can tell how on track a film is. It's like a gauge. Right. In music video, you would know, like, we don't have enough footage. Like, you have to have X amount of footage in order to boil it down to 3.5 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so it's, but you know, you can tell this is a great video. It's a lot of fun. Diane definitely has vision, and that's why she's successful and still doing stuff today.
Did you see the balloon? Was the balloon?
So the balloon, yeah, we were there for the balloon, and I don't remember all the details about it.
Huh.
But
did you get the ride? No, of course you didn't get the ride.
I know. Someone was in the bottom. I think the person who ran the balloon was in the bottom, or they set it up and they weren't. And someone was joking, like, oh, what if it just someone let it go and just kind of went off into these beautiful hills? Like, I don't. How big was
the crew? Like the workers? Like, it was 50 crew? It was like small crew?
It wasn't that big, but it was. So it's like, so you've got 2 third grips. I'm sure we had 2 third electrics, so just grip electric is 4 each. And because we had carbon arcs, we had to have lamp operators. I don't remember how many we had. I don't know if there were 2 or 3. And I believe, we'll have to check, but I believe carbon arcs are DC.
They will kill you.
They will. DC can be safer sometimes, especially
really?
on water. Yeah, supposedly, but but AC kicks you away. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But yeah, DC, all I know is I don't mess with DC.
Right, yeah.
I mean, the cable's just going into the back. The thing with the carbon arc is there's a little glass in there that you look through that's basically a welder's glass. It's like super ND. And that's how you can see the gap. And then you adjust the positive and the negative carbon arcs to make sure. So someone has to be on that lamp, and it's pumping smoke out. There's a fire going on in there. That's the thing with HMIs is everything's contained within a bulb, and I believe it's, I don't know if it's a vacuum. I don't remember exactly. There's some gas in there, but basically there's no smoke pouring out of it like there is with carbon arcs. Carbon arcs are pretty cool, but yeah.
Well, that's what we got so far for things Frank has been part of the crew on.
Yeah.
If you guys want to know anything else or want to know any more of our articles and stuff, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because I like pointing to things that aren't here yet. Oh, look! There it is! PullMyFocus.tv.
I can look at our little monitor over here.
I'm sure, Frank, you have some more great stories about videos that you maybe don't remember even being in, and then when we see it online, you'll go, oh yeah, I shot that. Or I was in that.
I was in that and shooting. Yeah. So check out our other videos on how not to shoot a music video.
Yeah, right.
In the green hills of upstate New York. Full My Focus.
I didn't know where to point because it's not my house.